Hey students, welcome back. Today's topic is naming acids and bases. We have already named bases, so that shouldn't be too hard for us, but hopefully this naming acids will go fairly easily too. Alright, so this is page 24, naming acids and bases. Today's date is 4/28. Alright, so first off, when naming acids to identify an acid, we know that our acid will always start with the letter H or the element hydrogen. So if it starts with H, it will be an acid for this class. Obviously, there's some organics that we're not going to talk about in here. All right, so there are two types of acids. Our first type is called a binary acid. And if you think of the prefix binary, bi meaning two, we have two elements, and so one of them is hydrogen. So to name them, we have three simple steps. It's fairly easy. The first thing that we're going to do for a binary acid is we're going to write the prefix hydro. So we write the prefix hydro. Our next step is to write the root of the anion or the non-hydrogen element, and then we're going to finish it with ic acid. Sounds simple? All right, let's see if we can't do that. So we have two examples here, HCl and HBr. We'll start with HCl. So our first step we see is to write the prefix hydro. So we're going to write hydro there. Our second step says to write the root of the anion, so the non-hydrogen element. So in this case, we have Cl, or chlorine, and the root of chlorine is chlor. And then we're going to finish it with ic acid. So HCl is hydrochloric acid. And you've probably heard of hydrochloric acid before. That's the acid that's in your stomach. All right. Awesome. Let's try another one. This time we have HBr. Again, our first step is to identify it as binary, right? We only have two elements there, H and Br. So that tells us we use the binary rule. So we're going to write the prefix hydro. Our second step says to write the root of the anion. We have bromine, so the root of that is brom. And then we're going to end it with ic acid, so hydrobromic acid. That's our binary acids. Okay? The other type of acid that we can have is called a ternary acid. A ternary acid has three or more elements. Basically, it starts with hydrogen and then it has a polyatomic ion attached to it. All right, so what we do then is we use our polyatomic ion table on the top of our periodic table to name it. If the suffix is ATE, we're going to change ATE to ic acid. And if it's ITE, we're going to change it to us acid, OUS acid. All right, so let's try a couple of these. So we have HNO3. The first thing that we should do is identify it as a ternary acid. See how we have three different elements, one H, we have N, we have O. That's three different elements. So that tells us it's ternary. So what we do is we go to our periodic table, we find NO3 on the top of our periodic table. NO3 is nitrate. And so since it ends in ATE, we're going to change the ATE part to ic acid. So instead of nitrate, we're going to say nitric acid. Notice there is no hydro on ternary acids. That actually is how we signify or distinguish between ternary acids and binary acids. Binary acids have that hydro, ternary does not. Okay, so let's work on that second one. We have HNO2. HNO2. So again, three elements. We find our polyatomic ion table. We see NO2, nitrite. It ends in ITE, so we're going to change that to us, and we're just going to say nitrous acid, and that's all it takes. So the biggest difference here, the biggest thing to check out, does it have two elements? Or does it have three elements? That's our biggest key, and then we follow these little instructions. All right? As far as our bases, these are really, really easy to name because we've already been naming these since our first semester, probably our second unit. All right? Because all of these end in hydroxide, or OH, so we just name them like we would. So Ca is calcium. OH is hydroxide, so we just say calcium hydroxide. And that's our way of naming bases. So we have the second example, we have AlOH3, so we're going to just say aluminum hydroxide. And that's it for naming acids and bases. A nice short one today. Homework should be short too. All right, good luck.